Hello everyone, this video will help you create a logo for your podcast and get it into eVideo. So every good podcast has a good logo, something that people can see and attach that visual image to your podcast. And it gives them something to look at while they're listening. We're going to use Pixlr to create our logos. Once you have your good idea, you can sketch it out if you want, or you can get started right away in Pixlr. You can get there through the bookmark that you probably have, or if you don't, you've got a link in Google Classroom. Once you get to your photo editor, Pixlr, I do suggest that you use the advanced photo editor for this. It just gives us more choices. We're going to create a new file, and you can leave it as the full HD, and I do have to scroll down to the bottom and click Create. Inside, just a few things that you might want to do. I suggest, or I like to use a shape as kind of the backdrop. Now I'm going to choose a rounded rectangle because I like the look of that. I can draw my shape in here. And like I said, this has rounded edges, so I can use that radius to make my corners more round as I come all the way down. And I do like nice round corners. You can change the color right here. I'm in red right now. I'm in such a light red that it's white. I can move all the way down here, and it's such a little dark red that it's black, but in between I've got all the other colors and shades. I'm going to choose a blue today, kind of a light blue. Now this is my backdrop for my logo. I also might want to add text, some words. I can use that text tool, the T. I can draw in a text box wherever I might want to write. And you can be more creative than me. I'm just going to say, my podcast. I will show you just a couple of cool features that you have here and under styles. You can choose maybe to have curved writing, like in a half circle. Sometimes that looks good, sometimes it can be distracting. It's up to you. I also like the effects here of the outline. That just kind of gives the letters a nice look. Or the shadow too. The shadow just kind of gives them a nice effect. Once you have something that looks good there, I want to point out too, you could also add an image to your podcast logo by either using the paintbrush or pen to draw it, or you could use an image that you might have, but it does need to be saved as a file first. So if maybe you have a photo that you want to use or an image, you need to save that as a file maybe on your desktop. I have a file right here for a happy cat, so let's just say I was doing a happy cat podcast. I could just drop that image in from my desktop. I do want to add it to the current layer so that I can work with it all on the same. And if I'm on my happy cat, I want to make sure I'm on my pointer, and now I can move it around. I can readjust. Just like so. When you have your podcast logo all done just like I have this and you are happy with it, you'll need to save it before we can take it and put it into our eVideo. In order to save in Pixlr, we'll click on File, come down to Save. We're going to give it the name Podcast Logo. And we can leave it as a PNG file. I will tell you, I don't know why, but I had some students that had some trouble with PNG files, and we switched it to JPEG, and that worked just fine. And then we started using JPEG files, and I had like just a couple of students where that didn't work, but when we came back and saved it as a PNG file, well, then it did work for them. So I don't have a good reason as to why that is, but if you run into trouble actually getting your podcast logo into eVideo, try changing the file format and doing it again. I don't know why, but that's a fix that I have found. If it's your first time though, I suggest just doing it in the PNG file format and click download. You'll see it download right down here. You can click to open it up and see it, but you know that it's saved in your downloads folder. Last step is going into your eVideo. I've got my project here, this is my podcast, and I want that image to run in my video track the length of my podcast. To get it in here, I just need to go to My Media and then Import. Now I can search for it right here, and I know that it's in my Downloads folder, and there's Podcast Logo. I click Open, and it comes in right there. Again, as long as you don't have any troubles, once you can see it, you're ready to use it, you can just drag it in. We're going to put it in your video track and stretch it across the length of your podcast. That way, somebody that is watching can look and see this image while they listen. Welcome to Mr. Young's Amazing Teacher Talk Podcast. Have a great day, everyone. Look forward to seeing all those amazing podcast logos.